Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to go into another guide for DC Unchained. I want to talk about the base, which is a pretty important aspect of the game. It's going to allow you to collect a lot of additional items to strengthen your characters. So if you already play something like Marvel Future Fight or other similar games, this is kind of like the Shield Lab, but it's got some additional properties that make it extremely valuable. And I think it's especially important now to understand it because a lot of you guys are reaching Shield, or rather account level 5. Once you hit that, you will unlock the base. And then as you level up past 5, you'll unlock additional base components in terms of the number of builds you can have and the number of upgrades you can make. But don't worry too much because it's going to become way too expensive for you to keep up. So you're almost never going to hit those caps that you see there. I've personally never hit them. But the base is a really important place because it provides you with all of the building blocks that you're going to need to make your characters better besides actual cards. It provides you with Valorium, which is the items that you equip to give your characters specific stats and to kind of customize them in specific ways, whether you want them to do more damage, want them to evade more, want them to have more skill cooldown. It's going to give you comic cards, and I have one right here that I can collect here for Ares, which are going to buff all of your characters' main stats, like their HP, their defense, stuff like that. You have the Communication Center, which is going to make it easier for you to have more friends. It's going to make stamina potions, which you use to recharge your character's ability to play, which is super important. And it's got some other functionality. And then the Dispatch Center, which makes it easier to build everything in the base. So covering those, the Dispatch Center is the one you're going to want to focus on first, because the Dispatch Center and the Command Post specifically is where you're going to be able to send your heroes and villains on missions. And you can see that the primary reward for all of these missions is that silver kind of sphere. That sphere is the building module, and that's what you use specifically and exclusively right now for the base building blocks. So if you can see here, I have 2,600. I've banked up a lot of it. You'll start off with 0. You can also get this building module from a couple of other game modes, and you can get it from some high level Unchained later on, but it's going to be very difficult to come by at first, and you're going to want to get some and build it up, reasonably quickly. So you do want to upgrade the Command Post for the Dispatch Center. I went ahead and I upgraded mine to level 3. Each level unlocks an additional mission, so level 2 unlocks the second mission, level 3 the third, and level 4 the fourth. I think you can stop at level 2, or the very first, or rather the second upgrade. The first upgrade will give you 1, the second will give you 2. The reason why I don't think you should go past 3 is because every time you do this, you need to send characters. You can technically send 1 character, and based on their power level, it'll give you a success rate, but for most players, they're not going to have too many souped up heroes, so you may have to send 2 or potentially 3 heroes for each mission. And so if you don't have many, if you only have, let's say, 10 heroes unlocked or 12, sending half of those, or more than half if you have 3 missions unlocked, is really going to make it difficult for you to play. Additionally, because the dispatch time is sometimes quite long, 1 hour for 30 energy is not very efficient, and for only 240 XP, it's extremely inefficient. This is only good basically for the building module. It's not good for gold, it's not good for character XP. Because of that, you want to hopefully get these quicker missions. This one will give me still 20 building module, decent XP and gold for the fact that it only takes 30 minutes and it only costs 15 energy, so I can get through these faster and go back to them. You can get some comic cards, and you can see in this one it only costs 40 minutes, but you can get a maximum of 100 building modules. Unfortunately, you can't re-roll the missions once you get them, so you have to kind of use and work with what you have. Another tip I can give you is that based on the color, it'll allow you to use certain characters or other characters. So there's ones that are only for villains and ones that are only for heroes. However, you'll always be allowed to use alliance characters, which are the ones that straddle the line, like Captain Cold, between both hero and villain. So sometimes they're good guys, sometimes they're bad guys. So you can definitely use those to your advantage, like Larfleeze, Ares, Lex Luthor, etc., to allow yourself to do more dispatch missions. Once you build up enough building modules from the dispatch mission, your very next investment, in my opinion, should be the cover lab. You want to build this as soon as possible. The Cover Lab Production Center is of course the most important one because it produces covers for you. In addition to the Cover Production Center, you're going to want to upgrade it, but there's also another one that I was more recently introduced to that I absolutely love, and it's the Cover Exhibition Center. It's the second one here out of 3, and this one will give you the chance to get an additional cover. So basically, instead of getting 1, you get 2, which is awesome. So the percentage starts off at 10% when you build it, and as you increase the level by building upgrades to it, it goes higher. I would recommend by end game that you want to get this up to 25%. That means every 4 times that you pull a card, on average, you'll get 2 cards. That's really, really good. And if you combine that with a max level production center, which I already have, it produces a card for me every, I believe it's 37 or 38 minutes. So almost in about an hour, I have a 50% chance or a 25% chance twice, which is not 50%, but fine, to get twice as many cards. So it really piles up and you start to get lots of cards, and you need lots of cards because every character has 3 cards and there will be more coming soon. And 1 of each card is good for level 1, but then you're going to need 4 for level 2, and then you're going to need 10 for level 3. And I believe it goes even higher than that. I think it goes all the way up to level 5 possibly. But I'm not quite sure. So yeah, it's definitely something that you want to focus on, and these stats are very, very good for your character, and they all stack, and it's going to make the difference long term between your characters being good or your characters being great. And this is kind of just a passive thing. I don't have to pay to collect these cards. I don't have to, or to the comics, I don't have inventory slots for the cards, so you're never going to have a surplus of them. So it's always good to have as much as possible. I can't recommend these other ones. The Cover Searching Center, I built it because the percentage was high, 150. Haven't really seen too much of it, so I don't really recommend it. Keep in mind that the more things you build, the more expensive the next thing you build will be. So it's really important to choose your next building carefully. For your first building, it only costs, I believe, like 100 or 50 modules or something like that, and the gold amount is very low. In my case, because this will be my 8th building, it's going to cost me 700 module and 35,000 gold, and that will scale up higher and higher the more unique buildings that I build. So keep that in mind. Third on the list, we have the Valorium Research Lab. Here, I can only really see 2 things to purchase from it. The Valorium Production Center is pretty straightforward. It produces Valorium. It takes 2 hours and 40 minutes per Valorium. I end up getting about 5 to 6 per day because I'm not always checking it constantly, but if you're better at it, you could potentially collect, 12. Well, 12 would be the most, but or too many. But anyways, you could collect like 7 or 8. You could also upgrade this to reduce the production time. You can do the math on it, but I don't really see too much of value in it because I think the majority of the time, I would say like 80% of the time, I'm getting common Valorium, which is not so great. You also sometimes get refined mineral, which is what you need to upgrade your Valorium, which is good, but we can't really control how often that happens unless we build other buildings, and I don't recommend that. So I recommend to just leave this for now. The one that you may come back to later on for this research lab specifically is the Fusing Technology Lab, and this one is going to increase the chance of acquiring Element X. Right now, it's extremely difficult to find. It's one of the rarest items in the game, most expensive, and it basically is required for high-level Valorium enhancement to move Valorium from one category or rarity to another. So you need 1 Element X to move a common Valorium up to a rare Valorium with an 85% success rate. The amount of Element X and the success rate is going to go up and down as you move into the higher tiers, and especially to get from the last tier legendary up to celestial. Additionally, some of your last Valorium slots on your characters also cost Element X to unlock. So you can see here I have 9 Valorium slots on my Green Lantern. If I want to upgrade or unlock the next one, and Valorium does increase your character's power level by quite a lot, it's going to cost me 2 Element X. So this is a very rare commodity that's going to really be kind of choked and kind of a bottleneck for you to upgrade your characters in the long run. So this is probably going to be something, although the rate is really low, 4% is nothing. I'm probably going to start maybe in a week or 2 looking into building this and seeing how much of an effectiveness it has. I mean, 5 hours and change they've really, you know, bumped up the cost, and they've really lowered the rates on this, so it's obvious that it's a super valuable resource to have. Finally, we have the communication center, and this is probably the one that I say you could probably ignore if you wanted to. I did build the stamina potion production center, but if you don't have to build it, you might not want to. I mean, you get one every, I believe it's 12 hours, which is extremely infrequently. Sometimes I only get one per day because I just forget to check. So yeah, it's really not that handy. I thought it would be a lot more. I thought it would produce a lot more. You can upgrade it to reduce the production time by 1/3, which is not bad, but again, it's a really costly upgrade. The first one cost me 90,000, and it's only going to get more expensive. To put that into perspective, this costs me about as much as one gold card, and it's only going to go up from there. So this could end up costing me probably in the range of 5 family gold cards, which is kind of a little bit too much, I would say, for, you know, an extra, what, 3 potions per day. Possibly in the late game, when I need to use energy specifically for certain tasks, it might be useful, but I'm finding it pretty easy right now to maintain, you know, 60 to 90 stamina potions and to upgrade plenty of my characters up to level 60. There's no rush to grind out character levels right now because we're all still in the early game, so you're not losing that much ground over other players because you've decided to start playing at the beginning. So I wouldn't really stress too much about this. The other 3, you can read what they do. Increases the number of items purchasable with honor points. Really not something that you want. The other honor point chests don't have great items, and I think the chance of getting those items is also quite low, even though it kind of offers gold cards. I can show you in a second. And then this one increases the max capacity of your friends list. Probably not something you're going to need. And then this one allows you to tag in a friend to play with you to help you finish the level. Again, nothing in the game is too difficult, so most of the things in this communication center portion of the base are just not necessary. They're kind of fluff. You don't really need them. As far as the honor point thing goes, what they're discussing is in the shop you can go over to character upgrades, and if you scroll over to the right, you'll find that there are honor point draws at different levels, and if you upgrade that material management center in the base, you'll unlock these. The most expensive one costs 300 honor tokens, and it has a chance for family gold cards. Wow, sounds really good. Probably really bad. We don't know what the exact drop rates are, but they're probably like 1% or 2% for family gold cards. Not worth it, especially considering that if you save up 2,500 honor points, and I'm already more than halfway there, you can purchase a character unlocker. So you can kind of balance the chance of getting one gold card versus a whole new character for free. And then you'll realize quite quickly why those honor point chests are not worth it. So that is my breakdown and my guide to the base. It's really important to wrap your head around it and to make the first 2 or 3 upgrades that you do really count, and to choose them wisely because the cost goes up, because you have so few building modules, and because it's going to allow you to snowball your comic card collection and your Valorium in the long run. You know, just getting ahead by a couple of days on someone else after a few weeks really starts to show the difference. So let me know what you guys think of the base. Let me know what you think of DC Unchained and how you're liking it and how you're enjoying the game, and who you have at S rank, possibly. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.